Yo guys, what is up? It is Teacher's Game 2 and feeling a little bit festive, getting near Halloween. As you can see, got my nice Halloween hat on, and I want to show you some sneaky spots that you can use on Extinction that people don't use, and it's really unfortunate because these are like a new style of base, I think is what it's called. Now, I've been using this for a little bit of time, a decent amount of time at least. And what really is so unique about them is that you don't need turrets. Well, you can't even place anything, so let me show you what I mean. So the first spot that we're going to go ahead and go is actually at these chords, 51.9, 40.2, just so you can see it on the map. It's kind of like the middle left-ish area of the map. And this is not my least favorite spot. I mean, this is not my favorite, so this is probably ranked number 2 of the 3 that I'm about to show you. And you need a little bit of ingenuity in order to get into this spot. One, back in here, I'm sure you've seen this base location before. No, you can't build in here. Wow, my English is great. However, there is a trick to being able to build in here. What you're going to do, pretty easy. One, first and foremost, block off this right here, because there is nothing worse than when you're in here and someone just trolls you by walking in right here. So you can block it in a ton of different ways. You can use cliff platies, whatever you need to do. But that's just my suggestion. 2, we are going to use a Quetzel Build. Now, in order to build on top of this thing, or in there, you have to build outside first. We got to get a little bit clever. Now, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to put the back 2 on for a reason, because I don't want to waste space in regards to this area. Okay. Now, what you're going to do, as you can see right here, I've got a nice little platform. You are basically going to have everything you need on this platform, using your Quetzel kind of like a storage unit. Obviously, you're going to have to minimize everything, so this is not a base for really big tribes, but more of like people that are trying to find a good little start to the game. Because it's really hard to raid this if you do the right stuff. Now, you'll notice I can place pretty much everything down on this Quetzel, which is awesome. Da-da-da, just like that. I've got beds, electrical wires, everything that I could possibly need for right now. If I really wanted to, I can also place down chem benches. I can place down cryo fridges, literally everything that you need on this quest. The only thing you really can't place that's unfortunate is you cannot place down an indie cooker, which sucks. And I mean an indie forge. So, anyways, we've got what we need on our quets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put our quets inside that area. So you're basically able to build in there just by doing this. Now, you're basically going to fly down where I am right now. We are going to go up and in. And check this out. Just like this. Now, obviously you can see the Quetzel is a big creature. That's just for lack of a better word it is. Now, what's really neat about the Quetzel is you can see right here. Yeah, it meshes through a little bit, but you can't see it from the other side. You have yourself a mobile base in here. You can land the Quetzel. You can do whatever you want to do. I usually just let him land on his own. You don't have to, obviously, but you could. There is a whistle land 1. He will find a spot to land. I usually don't really care about that because he'll also fly forever. And I just prefer that he's unmeshable because he has a tendency to do this. So this isn't necessarily awful, but I don't like it. So next what we're going to do, pretty neat actually, jumping over. You can see the spot. You got to block this right here. And we're going to place down some Velonosaurs. Now you can place them down however you like. It doesn't matter at all. You can place them over here. I guess once you can actually get them to fit in here. But there are a couple spots. Now, if you place down some Velonosaurs, all you got to do is put them on turret mode, targeting range high. Oops, not what I wanted to do. And then aggressive. Anytime somebody comes up in here, they are going to get roasted by your Velonosaurs. Now, you're going to see what I mean, because you can load this thing up with Velonosaurs. You can put 150 Velonosaurs right here, and what is somebody going to do? There's no way to raid you. You're just going to get shot off. Now, obviously, there's probably ways to mesh this, but there's ways to mesh every base, so let's be honest on that. And then, let's just show you some more about this area. So, right over here, You can go down and underneath, store things up on top of this, which is pretty cool. Up in there, you can store things. You don't have to, obviously, but you have a ton of room in here. Now, this isn't my favorite one, but it's still a good spot. So you can see tons of room in here, but that's something that it's up to you if you want to do that or not. But it's a pretty neat little area. I like it a lot. Take a screenshot here just because I love this area. It's a good base location, it really is. You can see you got to get a bunch of Velonosaurs because you can't build down in here, but nonetheless, it's a nice area. You can get around quite a bit. That's the only way in or out, so as long as you can defense that area up, it's a great starting spot. Now let's go ahead and show you the second spot that we're going to go to, and this is a spot that I have found myself. This is probably my favorite spot, let's be totally honest. If you have enough Velonosaurs, this spot is basically unraidable. Now let me show you how. Alright, so you're actually really close to where we're going next, because I just have to eat this thing real quick because, I don't know, I just enjoy getting those BPs. So you see the gate down there? That's where we're going. Now, this is another couple of spots that people used to build and they no longer do because they're like, oh, you can't build in there anymore. So people just stopped. However, not me. I think these spots are stupid OP. Now, obviously this one's a little bit different. You can't have a Quetz in here, so you have to build some stuff on the outside. But in the location that I am right now, 61.9, 45.9, right at the bottom of the map here, this is where you can build a basically unraidable base. What you're going to do, you have to have climbing picks, or a tech suit technically. You can't fly a Pteranodon. You used to be able to. You can do a whole bunch of stuff, but you can't do any of that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you can see. Oh, I can't even do that here. So how you do this is you basically climb with your climbing picks up onto the ceiling, and then you're going to go ahead and drop down. Now, that is the only way into this base location. That is it. This is the only thing, the only way you can get in is right there. The rest of this area is wide open. No, you can't build in here, but that doesn't matter because if you can have yourself your tames in a safe location back in here, RGs count as smithies, which is just, you know, awesome. So you have a couple of RGs with storage box, or basically serve as your storage boxes. Everything you can possibly imagine you can fit back in here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drop down. So here's another cool thing. There's another hidden location where you can raise babies in the backside of this. There we go. And back in here, it's a nice little location. It looks like there might be an entrance. There is not. You can put a couple of feeding trows right there and raise some babies back in this corner or over on the other side. There's a ton of different ways to do it, which is really kind of neato. This basically is an area you can store so many tames in, and this is where I've built a ton, and it really is unraidable. With enough Velonosaurs, and people are like, oh, everything's raidable. I'm sure there's like 12 people thinking that right now. However, it's almost impossible to raid this thing because you toss down 6, 7, 8 Velonosaurs, even 6, 7, or 8, aiming at this with their turret mode on. How are they going to get in? Because, yeah, like, oh, yeah, they can sit around this corner and snipe. If you've got 20, 30 Velonosaurs in here, and you got a couple more just waiting right here, the only way in is to climb right there. So people are going to get shredded before they can even get in. And then you store the rest of your tames over on this side. The one thing that's kind of negative is this wall right here. People can mech through, as in like they can swing their sword. So putting things over on this backside is what you want to do. So this spot is really, really, really OP because you can load up your Velonosaurs right here, toss down some RGs over here. No, you can't build in here, and I'll show you that. No matter how many times people tell you you cannot. Okay? But that doesn't mean you can't make a sick base location. You put a bunch of Velonosaurs here. You put a bunch of RGs over there. You can raise babies right over here and put anything up above to raise them, whether you have a tech tro or a normal tro. This can be a huge player base. And let me show you what I mean by that. Because, one, again, that's the only way in, which is just insane. You can put yourself, if you don't care people know you're here, plop a grind pad down right here. You got yourself, and then you put some defenses up above, all that kind of stuff. And you got yourself a base on the outside with all of your tames uncryopotted and safe on the inside of that little hole. which is insane that that's possible. So that is probably my favorite spot on any map, because I don't know, for me it's just something that's super neat. So I'm going to go ahead and climb back here one more time so you can see how I did it. You're just going to go up, up, and then turn around, and you'll basically hop onto the ceiling. You're going to let yourself down, and boom, insane base location. So, and again, to get out, come on now. There we go. You just have to go back up, get to the ceiling, and then launch yourself down. Now, again, some Velonosaurs right there, and nobody is going to be able to raid you. It's awesome. And some people are like, I'm sure that, yes, there's always a way to raid somebody. You can mesh, you can do all those things, but if you're going to play fair, it's almost impossible to raid that location, which is awesome. Now, here's another one. This location is a lot of fun. It's right next door to it, actually. And you can actually combine these two, but, you know, I almost prefer this one for one simple reason, and then I don't prefer it for another reason. So, right where we are right now, I'll go ahead and mark the chords again for you. 62.0, 47.6 on the map. It's right next door to it. There is another hidden cavern where you walk up and in, just like you see right here. Walk down a little bit, and then you are here. Now, in this area, the negative side is you don't have very much room, but you can store a ton of tames in here because you can run down this entire back side. And there's a bunch of good little storage pit down in there. Now, that's not the greatest, but still, it's another hidden location. And what you do a little bit differently here, and why it's kind of a little bit the same, hard to raid wise as the last one, if you can throw down a bunch of Velonosaurs right here, go ahead and put them on turret mode just so you can see what I mean, and you're walking down this, you can't throw any tames out here. It's impossible. It is literally impossible to throw tames out here. Yes, you could sit here and shoot things as you go, like shoot, and then kind of like just, you know, run. But it is very hard to raid this location because as soon as you hit this corner, if you've got 10, 15 Velonosaurs, they're just going to start ripping you apart. So it's a good little startup location. Not quite as bad, I guess not quite as good as my other location, the second one that I found. Not found, but kind of have made into a sick little base location. But nonetheless, you can fit a lot of stuff in there. So these are great storage spots. You can build yourself a base on the outside right here, and then just use it as your storage spot. However, let me just show you the last thing. With the other location that's beneath me right now, location number 2, there are a bunch of hidden little cracks that you can hide stuff up and in. Now you can see that right now I am just back in this little corner. You can climb yourself around up in here too, but you don't have to, obviously. So now, that being said, boom, there's a bunch of little hidden locations here, and you can, why am I stuck right now? Am I like glitched? Interesting. Never had this happen. Am I like somehow in the mesh? What is going on here? Weird. Oh well. Anyways, hopefully those 3 locations helped you out, and you can see there's tons of growth possibility, and you can hide without any tech, without any turrets, and have a nice little base location. So if you have any requests, comments, or just like, hey, you know, this is unraidable and I think you're shenanigans, that's fine. A lot of people think that, but nothing's unraidable because you can mesh everything. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video and Teacher's Game 2.